Calf Rope, written by Jake Stetler and Bradley Hawkins. Over black. Hear the drone of a television, a western, gunshots, galloping horses, Native American war cries. Eventually, we recognize the distinctive musical theme from Bonanza. Fade in. Interior McKendrick home, day. Dust motes float in the hazy light of a humble living room. A massive floor model television. On the top, a small-scale ceramic Christmas tree with multicolored bulbs. Superimpose, Texhoma, Oklahoma, December 1965. Focus on a wall of memorabilia. A yellowed newspaper article in a dime store frame, a faded picture of a young Alan Mac McKendrick, a lanky kid with a winsome grin. Award ribbons from across the Midwest praise the prowess of the junior rodeo champion. An Oklahoma State Fair poster. Sales awards for farming equipment. A collage of photographs. From an early wedding portrait to a more recent image of Mac in a cowboy hat with a microphone at a cattle auction. Notice a ceramic cowpoke at a side table, lanky, slump-shouldered, a coiled lariat and a 6-gun. He leans on a rifle. On the edge of the frame, a strong hand rests on the arm of a worn recliner, the skin rough and liver-spotted. Grandad Mac McKendrick, 65, dozes in his favorite chair, the Sunday paper strewn about his person. Mac is grizzled but strong, a full head of salt and pepper hair slicked back with Dapper Dan pomade. Mac snores like a V8 engine. The television casts flickering light on the rapt and guileless face of a young boy sprawled out on the floor. He holds his trusty cap-fed 6-gun. This is Brandon Haywood, 9. He has careless hair and somber eyes. An old soul. The swell of orchestral music signals the end of the program. Brandon stands, holsters his 6-gun, and snaps off the TV. The screen image narrows to a point, the rush of static. Brandon turns around. Mac continues to slumber. Brandon moves as if to leave the room, but then his attention shifts to the ceramic cowpoke. Brandon moves closer and reaches out, tentative. He touches the faded paint. A raspy voice with a Midwestern twang breaks the silence beside him.
What you doing, kiddo?
Brandon turns and meets his gaze, then, with unabashed sincerity, asks,
Granddad, were you ever a real cowboy?
Deep laughter becomes a hacking cough. Brandon appears confused by the older man's reaction. Mac realizes that Brandon is serious and clears his throat.
How do you mean?
Did you ever fight any Injuns or been in a shootout with a bad guy?
Brandon draws his 6-gun and fires at the ceramic cowpoke. Pop, pop, pop! A wisp of smoke rises from the spent caps. Brandon points the barrel at the television.
You know, like on Wagon Train or Gunsmoke.
Brandon turns back. Mac raises a gnarled finger in warning.
Better not let your grandma catch you shooting that 6-gun in the house.
Brandon deflates, exasperated.
Aw, come on, Granddad.
Mac raises his calloused hands in surrender. He smiles.
How old do you think I am, anyhow?
Pretty old.
Mac pokes Brandon in jest.
That was way before my time, you little rascal.
Brandon grins. He enjoys teasing the old man. Mac waves Brandon over. Brandon kneels and leans over the arm of the chair.
Well, I have ridden my share of horses. Milked more cows in my lifetime than I care to remember. Wrangled a mess of steers. I even used to rope calves in the rodeo. Heck, I wasn't much older than you.
Brandon gasps.
Really? But I thought cowboys only rode wild broncos at the rodeo.
Well, sir, that's just one event. Now calf roping, that's a whole nother matter.
Exterior rodeo day. Superimpose 1915. A weathered cowboy with a handlebar mustache holds a bandana aloft. In the other hand, a stopwatch. A calloused thumb is poised over the action button. He brings down the bandana like a flag and presses the button on the stopwatch at the same moment. Mac, 13, spurs his horse and breaks the rope barrier. He gallops after the fleeing calf. Tufts of dirt fly. Mac twirls the lasso in the air and snaps the loop over the calf's neck. Mac secures the rope over the saddle horn and leaps to the ground. The rope goes taut and yanks the calf to a stop. Mac presses the calf down and flips it onto its side. He ties off the legs with incredible speed. The crowd erupts. A tiny boy whoops with joy. The cowboy cracks a faint smile.
Then I would wrap and slap a pig and string round its legs.
Young Mac leaps to his feet and thrusts his arms into the air.
It was quite a thrill, let me tell you.
Interior, McKendrick home, day, 1965. Brandon stands stock still, mouth agape in awe.
Wow.
A flicker of concern registers on his rapt face.
But doesn't hurt them? The calves, I mean?
Mac flashes a tender smile.
The animals were treated with great care. Nobody respects a cow more than a cowboy.
Satisfied, Brandon nods.
That makes sense.
Sudden realization dawns on his face.
Oh, no. So that's why...
Mac flashes a mischievous grin. Brandon steps back, hands out to ward him off. Mac lunges to grab him. Brandon trembles with laughter.
Come here. Let me show you how it's done.
Mac yanks the boy onto his lap and tickles him without pause.
Granddad.
Brandon tries to wiggle away. Mac stops and leans in close.
Give up?
Brandon grins. He launches another verbal jab.
Hey, old-timer, you snore like a grizzly bear.
Mac feigns offense.
Why, you... I was just resting my eyes.
Mac unleashes another barrage of tickling. Brandon laughs, chest heaving. A handsome older woman enters the room. She exudes comfort and grace. This is Corah McKendrick. She scolds her husband.
Mac, let the child breathe, for goodness sake.
Can't do it, Grandma. Not until he says it. Come on, boy. Say it.
Brandon shakes his head, choking with laughter. Then he relinquishes.
Calf rope!
Mac releases him. Brandon giggles and scurries off. Mac winks at Corah. She gives him a look that could wilt flowers. Then, unable to resist any longer, she turns to vent a smile as she escapes the room. Exterior, feed supply store, day. A white cement brick building with a galvanized steel roof and large pane windows borders a lonely stretch of road. A sign reads, Feed and Supply. At one end of the parking lot, new tractors and other farming equipment are on display. Brandon sits atop the finest tractor on the lot. He jerks the steering wheel side to side to mimic driving. Mac leans against one of the large rear tires. He extols the virtues of the machine as if he is selling it to a gullible farmer. Brandon has tuned him out. He finishes his spiel.
This little beauty has a ton of power. Let me tell you.
Brandon grows weary of the game and turns to Mac.
What else is there to do here?
Mac looks disappointed as he helps the boy down.